Ooh, yeah. Cream to the top. Ooh, yeah. The Macho Man Randy Savage. Ooh, yeah. You got lust in your eyes from Miss Elizabeth. Okay, I think I got that out of me. Anyway, what's up, y'all? Hope y'all doing good. I'm Anthony K. Thomas, and welcome to Wrestling with Rumors. Welcome, everyone. So, before we get into everything that is this week's episode of Wrestling with Rumors, like I say every week, every rumor that you're about to hear is exactly what it is. It is a rumor. We can speculate as wildly as we want, but until those rumors are proven fact, true by the person, company, or promotion the rumor is about, they remain what they are, rumors. So with that, let's get into a new episode of Wrestling with Rumors. Starting with regarding a Lucha Brothers reunion, Selfmade Pro said they were told to expect it once they finish up with the tournament to find a top contender for Roman Reigns in Mexico City. And I am going to speak on that a little bit later about who I think it's going to be. I spoke a little bit about it on a episode a couple of days ago on Rumor of the Day, but here on Wrestling, I also promised on that same episode that I was going to speak a little bit more into that. So and go a little bit further past the tournament as well. But we'll get into that for a little bit. As far as Lucha Brothers reunion, there was supposed to be a Lucha Brothers reunion last year. I think towards the end of the year. I think around November or December. But Penta got hurt, so they couldn't do that Lucha Brothers reunion in AAA. But technically there was a Lucha Brothers reunion on during while when SmackDown was off the air. It was like after SmackDown had finished, and Penta came out to help his brother Ray Phoenix, and that turned into a bit of a tag match. So that was a Lucha Brothers reunion right there, but that was just for the live crowd. That wasn't for everyone who was watching. They did get it on tape, so it might still be on like on one of the on a social media site or like on YouTube or something like that. But as far as something more official that's been announced and for everyone, and the story behind all of it for their return, it is going to happen. We got Ray Phoenix, we got Penta. It's just all about timing, and the timing was there last year, but it just didn't work out because Penta got hurt. So it got pushed back, but it's going to happen. The stars will say it in the sky. The planets will align, and we'll finally get that Lucha Brothers reunion. When we get it, you know, tag team championships are in their future in WWE. But um, it's just a matter of time. But I feel like we're getting there. We're getting there very close. I feel like before the end of this year, we're going to get that Lucha Brothers reunion. Absolutely. Natty told the background podcast that she and the Bella twins are not taking, and this is in quotes, are not taking our foot off the gas in their fight to bring back Total Divas. She says WWE President Nick Khan listens to us and is very collaborative with them about how to make the show bigger and better than ever in case it does get the green light to return. So yeah, they want to bring it back. They want to bring back Total Divas. I watched, honestly, I'll say it honestly, I watched the first few seasons of Total Diva, and then I kind of got over it because on it I'm not as big on reality shows as several people are, and I watched it for a while just to see what it was about, and after a while I saw which way it was kind of going, and I lost interest in it for a while. And they did the same, and then there was the total, and then that Total Divas turned into Total Bellas kind of thing. And so if they bring it back, that's cool. You know, they want to bring it back, bring it back. Whoever's interested in watching it, they'll watch it. I know Mariah. Um, I want to say Mariah May. I really want to say Mariah May, but y'all know what I'm talking about. She wants. I think I read something that she wants to bring back the Divas Championship the Butterfly Championship. I don't know if that's completely true or not. Here on Wrestling with Rumors and Rumor of the Day, we speculate whether they're true or not. But on the other side of that, from the men's side, Javon wants to bring back the original World Heavyweight Championship, the one that was used for WCW and even before WCW as well. So I mean that's cool. But yeah, as far as bringing Total Divas back, if that's something they want to do, I imagine they would put it back on E because that's where it was originally. So I imagine that's where they would put it. It'd be kind of curious if they do bring it back. I'd be interested to see a trailer just to see if it's what's different about it. If there's anything different about it, I imagine there might be a little difference in it. But I guess we'll see. Anyway, I anyway, for what it's worth, Wrestling is Over Radio's Dave Meltzer says there is no way WWE books Roman Reigns versus Psycho Clown in the World Championship match on next month's Raw in Mexico City. This is the rumor that I'm talking about that I did a few days ago on Rumor of the Day. So I, as I said on that episode of Rumor of the Day, can't, I wouldn't 100% take it out that Psycho Clown could win the tournament and be the one to face Roman Reigns for the world title when they're in Mexico City next month. It's not a bad speculation to have to say that it could be him. It's possible. You never know until you know. But looking at this tournament, looking who's in this tournament, I believe it's going to be Penta. And I said that on that episode of Rumor of the Day this past week. I think it's going to be Penta that is going to win the that's going to win this tournament, and it will face Roman Reigns in Mexico City for the WWE for that world title. Now, I believe that it will be a good match. It will be a good main event for that episode of Raw. Penta will get his first opportunity at that world title, which is what we want. I mean, if he wins it, holy shit, But I don't think he'll win it. It'll be a great match between him and Penta, but I don't see him winning it. I see Roman Reigns retaining this title because what's coming after Mexico City in September is October, and I'm gonna speak on October and into November a little bit, but segueing into the next thing that I want to talk to in this rumor is in their weekly report for Fightful Select, WrestleVote said a Roman Reigns LA Knight World Heavyweight title match is on the table, and there's a strong sense internally at WWE that the match will happen at October 10th, Money in the Bank. That is why I see. That is how I see. That is what I see for Roman Reigns from September to October. Is that he'll have this match with Penta. Penta will leave everything in the ring. This will be a good main event for Raw. Roman Reigns will retain, and then we'll segue right into getting ready for Money in the Bank October 10th. And in that match, it will be LA Knight. LA Knight will finally get his match, his World Heavyweight title match against Roman Reigns. And he'll get what he wants in that match. It'll just be him and Roman Reigns. There will be no outside interference. There'll be no bloodline. There'll be no Jacob Fatu. There'll be no Jimmy and Jey Uso getting involved in this match. It'll be Roman Reigns. It will be LA Knight in the middle of this ring fighting for the World Heavyweight title. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, yeah. So that's how I see that working out. That played in well with the two but that's how I see it playing out from September to October. Those two world title matches for Roman Reigns, first Penta, then after Penta, LA Knight, and then what comes next for Roman Reigns is Crown Jewel and Survivor Series. I'll get into Crown Jewel in a little bit, but first, sources told False Finish that WWE never gave serious thought to the possibility of changing Zilla Fatu's ring name ahead of his surprise debut on NXT. It sounds like WWE doesn't plan to rush him to the main event, even though there is an obvious spot for him in the Bloodline angle. So yes, Zilla Fatu has debuted this past Tuesday on NXT during a number one contenders match between Grayson Waller and Montana Cruz, Cruz Montana, to see who would face Tony D'Angelo for the NXT championship at Heatwave. And Zilla Fatu gets in the ring, takes both Cruz Montana, Montana, is it Cruz Montana? Cruz Montana, and I sometimes want to say Montana Cruz. Um, I think it is. It's Montana Cruz. Yeah, Montana. Anyway, and Grayson Waller, he takes them both out and stares down Tony D'Angelo, saying, "I need that. I want that. You hear that? New sheriff in town." Um, Great, freaking great. It was very surprising. I was speculating for quite a while whether or not Zilla Fatu was actually going to debut. Last week on Wrestling with Rumors, I did mention that his contract was up with GCW, so it only added to speculations that his next stop in his wrestling career was going to be WWE, and that's exactly it. It's it was with WWE. He has signed with WWE. He is now a WWE superstar. He's starting with NXT, and it's time to go to the races. Let it roll. So yes, that was great. That was a very surprising debut. I have been very glad to have been wrong on two separate occasions when it comes to rumors. One was Mike Santana, now known as Montana Cruz or Cruz Montana. I always get it confused with the name. And I apologize for that. And then the other is Zilla Fatu. Next, there is a possibility of another rumor of Richard Holiday possibly joining up, possibly signing with WWE, and starting in NXT. That is a general possibility as well. He was spotted. In the NXT cafe. I mean, he might have friends, so as a way for him to get invited. But you never know. There has been speculation and rumors about Richard Holiday possibly coming to WWE as well. So we will see for the rest of the year if that is something that actually happens. But the next thing that I want to talk about is I want to talk going into the end of October. I want to talk about Crown Jewel. And I want to talk about Crown Jewel because Crown Jewel is supposed to be in Saudi Arabia. It is the next show on the list of three shows expected between this year and next year for Saudi Arabia. The first one was the beginning of the year, which was Royal Rumble, and here we are getting. It's August now, so we got a couple of months. But as we get into October, and we get through Money in the Bank, after Money in the Bank, it is Crown Jewel. So, and Crown Jewel usually takes place towards the end of October into November, and then it's Survivor Series. But we'll talk about Survivor Series another time. We're talking about end of October into November for Crown Jewel. And I bring this up because I have talked about this several times about WWE needing to have a backup plan because of what's going on in the world right now, especially in the Middle East, especially with this war that's going on. And let me start off. I'm going to read these little things, and then I'm going to add some more 2 cents of what I've kind of been saying. I'm really going to be repeating myself a little bit, but here we go. So this is an article from Ringside News. WWE isn't pulling the plug on Crown Jewel just yet. I don't think they should. They don't need to pull the plug on Crown Jewel. You just need to move Crown Jewel to another event. If you want to keep it on the other side of the world, that's fine. Australia. It was great in Australia. Anytime they take Crown Jewel to Australia, it is incredible. It's great. I mean, yes, Crown Jewel is a Saudi Arabia event. It is their event that they take to Saudi Arabia because it is that thing. But in particular times when they can't do that, Australia would play perfect for that. The crowd would go insane. It would be great for that. But let me continue on. After months of questions surrounding the company's Saudi Arabia schedule, Crown Jewel is still sitting on WWE's 2026 live event calendar, with the company keeping a close eye on the situation in the Middle East before making any moves. WrestleVotes addressed the status of the show during an August 10th Q&A and didn't dance around the question when asked whether fans should still expect Crown Jewel this year. The answer was yes. Now, that is just a little bit from this article from Ringside News. The answer was yes. I have no problem with Crown Jewel. Honestly, I don't. It's it's because we got this war going in. Now, here's where things get even. This is the part where I was worried about when it comes to this war in the Middle East. That's going on with Iran. Um, that's going on between us, Iran, and Israel. And we're in this mess because we have uh, we're in this mess because of who's in the administration. I wanted to say something a little bit heavier than that, but I'm going to try to compose myself and not completely go off when it comes to politics, because this is all about wrestling. But sometimes real life shit gets involved, gets finds its way mixed in wrestling, and this is one of those times where it gets mixed in. But I'm not going to try to completely go off. But anyway, I'm going to read this next thing that I have. So, Iran has launched direct and indirect attacks targeting Saudi Arabia amid the amid the border regional conflict that has escalated in early 2026, which was around February. Iranian drones and missiles have targeted locations in Riyadh and Eastern Providence, including now this is including energy and gas and places where they make gas, as well as like oil refineries and stuff, as well as military bases hosting U.S. personnel. So that is brought. So because Iran is doing that with when it comes to hitting Saudi Arabia like that, that has brought Saudi Arabia into this war. Um, this has forced Saudi Arabia's hand and brought him into this war, which is why this is what I was fearing. This is what I was fearing, that at some point during this war, as it keeps escalating and it leaves people confused and it leaves gas prices so high up, especially when it's coming up, we're getting close to Labor Day and people are questioning whether or not they're able to go on their vacations, go on their Labor Day trips and take their trips because of how high gas is, all this stuff. um this was my fear, that that I'm hoping WWE is really paying attention to, is that Saudi Arabia being brought in on is now being pushed into this war as well. Um, and that really puts Crown Jewel and even WrestleMania in doubt about where they're going to be. Because I say this because this is not going to end anytime soon. You have administration that put themselves in a situation that they don't know how to get out of. They had no real plan to deal with. They thought they could do things. They thought they could handle things like they did in Colombia, and it would be the same. But they had no idea what they're doing. You got a leader and a president who has no idea what he's doing here in the United States, but also abroad when it comes to other countries, and especially when it comes to a war. You got someone who's running a war department, who has no idea what he's doing, and he thinks he's playing, and it just some guy who thinks he's playing who's playing a live version of Call of Duty, essentially Call of Duty and Battlefield, and has no idea what he's doing. We got soldiers, we got sailors who have been out on ships for almost a year now with no real plan, who are having mental health issues, who are jumping off of ships, who don't have drinkable water, who barely have any food, who barely have the toiletries that they need, or just running out of everything. And you have this administration, and you have someone who's running the war department, who's playing it down and saying that everything is fine. Everything is not fine. I apologize. I'm getting way ahead of myself. WWE, I hope they're paying attention to what's going on in the Middle East and they have these contingency plans, they have these backup plans for Crown Jewel, for WrestleMania, because the way things are playing out right now, I know we're a couple of months out from Crown Jewel and stuff, but the way things are playing out right now, a plan B needs to be thought of, a backup plan where you're gonna do Crown Jewel. Crown Jewel should stay on the list of live events. It's just a matter of changing the venue and putting it somewhere else. And hopefully you're able to do that within the amount of time you can do it in. So keep Crown Jewel on because um, Crown Jewel should stay on the event. It's part of it. Um, so do that, but just change the venue because I feel like that's going to need to happen. And as far as WrestleMania goes, absolutely have a backup plan. I mean, let's look at it like this: everything as far as WWE is doing for WrestleMania that week for that weekend. There are two events that are happening in New York. You have Stand and Deliver, and you have another one for Eternal something that's for Lucha Libre. If anything, do WrestleMania in New York. If anything, take this opportunity to just do, if it comes to it, do WrestleMania in New York. Whether you can, if you're able to book Madison Square Garden for WrestleMania 43, freaking do it. You know, if you can do it in Madison Square Garden, that would be awesome. If they're able to do it, if it's not going to work in Saudi Arabia, if you can book it in Madison Square Garden as a backup plan, cool. I mean, we have to allow things to play out as they will, but it does seem that is how it's all going to go. As far as when you look at Crown Jewel and when you look at WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia between this year and next year, and everything, and the conflict and the war that's going on in Saudi Arabia, bringing into it and all that. So, yeah, holy cow. And with that, I'm Anthony K. Thomas, and this has been Wrestling with Rumors. I appreciate all of you for watching, for listening. I apologize for getting a little political for a second there, but sometimes it can't be helped when political stuff in what's going on in the world finds itself in a situation that involves WWE and certain events like Saudi, like what's going to happen, like how things are going to play out for WWE and Crown Jewel, whether it's going to still be in Saudi Arabia or not, and WrestleMania, whether it's still going to be in Saudi Arabia or not. So appreciate you all for watching, for listening. And if you haven't yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can keep up with all new episodes of Wrestling with Rumors and Rumor of the Day and anything else that I drop wrestling-wise on this Wrestling with Rumors channel. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up, leave a comment, and hope all you have a good, fun, and safe week. Don't forget to take care of yourselves. I'm Anthony K. Thomas from Wrestling with Rumors. This has been Wrestling with Rumors saying take care of yourselves. See you on that next one. Peace, y'all.